All right, guys, Matt here. So today I'm taking the hubs off to inspect the brakes on a 2020 Kawasaki Mule SX. I spent a lot of time trying to get the hubs off the other day and just had no luck. I found out that Kawasaki has a tool for that. It's a couple $100, as you can imagine. There's nothing wrong with these brakes. I just wanted to inspect them, make sure they're not, at replacement time, they're not rusted out, anything like that. Only has 195 hours on it, but I just want to take a look at them for maintenance. So I'm going to take you through the process here. I'm just going to record it the whole time so that you don't miss anything. I'm going to fast forward probably parts of it, and you as well, feel free to skip ahead. But this is a great way to get the hub off without buying the expensive tool. Basically, I'm going to tell you here, and then I'll show you the whole process. I'm going to pull the studs off, I'm going to pull the lug nuts out to create some space in that hole and that hole, enough to get a puller in here. This is a cheap puller from AutoZone, Duralast 81-055. And then the lug nut studs come off with the hub. Drawing blanks here. So they come off with a hub on this one. So that's why it works, putting this on the wheel and pulling that hub off. So anywho, here's the process, and we'll go from there. took the cotter pin out. I'm going to take the axle nut off. It's a, was it 27? I'm going to take the lug nuts most of the way off, 11/16. Pull that tire out a bit. I'm going to take this puller and take one side off. I'm using the small side, not the big side. I'm going to take that off, and I'll show you the reason. This one, you can turn, get that guy in there. If it's still on there, you can't turn it. So I take it off, stick it in there, turn it, and then put this back on. Or try to get that on anyway. There we go. Then I'm going to unscrew this. Get it set on there. Hand tighten it. And then switch my socket to a 5/8. And start tightening it, which will pull that off which will pull that hub off. Got that, I'll set that out of the way. I'm going to reverse the process, taking this puller off. I'm going to take these lug nuts the rest of the way off. Pop the tire off. And this one, the hub actually came off with it. All right, so the others, it was still kind of hanging there, and I pulled it off. This one came off with the tire. So that's the inside. You can see there's some grease around the edge that forms like a, you can see there's grease around the edge that forms a seal because these are frequently in water. And if we look in here, everything really looks good. I'm going to turn it just a little bit. The brakes are probably 75% of what they should be. Like I said, it has 192 hours on it. Everything is really clean. This right here is the e-brake spring, which has tension on it right now because I am lifting it. So I put that on. Unless I was going to work on it, then I would release the tension just on that one. So really, I'm just going to seal this guy back up, and we'll repeat the process in reverse and check the last one, which is the passenger side rear, and we'll be good. So put that out of the way, sort of. So what I'm using on this is marine axle grease, because like I said, these go in the water a lot, so I want to be able to stand up to wet elements a little bit better, which it would anyway. You know, it's not standing in water all the time, but I want to give it its best chance at protecting the brakes, just because I don't want to have to fully replace them unless I have to down the road. I'd much rather just replace the brake pads. You know, if these brake pads have lasted, what is this? I think it's a these brake pads have lasted, you know, 4 years, 5 years, whatever already, and they are 75% of what they should be. You know, I probably won't need to check these again for another 5 years at least, you know, and feel very confident that they're in good shape, which is fantastic. You know, maintenance is great. It, you know, keeps things running. Also, sometimes it's a pain in the butt. So, all right, so we'll get this hub back on. Kind of wiggle it, get these teeth lined up. And the best way I've found to get Alright, we'll get the hub back on. Hub back on, and the best way I've found to do that is get your same socket, put it back over, we'll get this socket. All right, we'll get this hub put back on. All right, we'll get this hub put back on, and I released the tension on the e-brake and just made sure the wheels were blocked. Otherwise you won't be able to get this one on. So slide it on, make sure it lines up with the teeth, get your socket. I like to get it to where I can put the axle nut back on, and we're just there, and that'll pull the hub back onto it. Feel a difference once that's seated. It'll become tight and won't move as much, and then just give it a and you're good. I think factory says 240 pounds, if I remember right, give or take. All right, put the e-brake back on, set that up. Start getting the lug nuts back on. Switch back to 11/16 socket. All right, guys, and that is it. Minus one thing. All right, guys, last thing. Throw a new cotter pin in. You never want to reuse the old cotter pin. I don't know where I got these cotter pins at, but they're super long, but that's okay. Doesn't much matter as long as it holds it. And we're set. All right, guys, that is it. So that is how to get the brake drum off a 2020 Kawasaki Mule SX. As always, if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, please like, share, subscribe. Thank you. Have a good day.